The offseason has finally arrived, and for the Cowboys, it is that moment where everything feels possible. The big question on everyone's mind is, who are they going to target in free agency? Dallas has holes all over the roster, and this year it genuinely feels like the front office could make a real splash. We are not just talking about one or two positions either: running back, offensive tackle, edge rusher, linebacker, cornerback, and safety are all areas that could dramatically reshape the team next season. The way this offseason unfolds could define the direction of the franchise for years, depending on what happens with their own players and who they decide to chase on the open market. Starting with the running back situation, the Cowboys' biggest decision might be whether they can keep Javonte Williams if he leaves. Dallas needs a clear plan, and one of the most intriguing names out there is Breece Hall. Hall has had a turbulent career so far, but his talent is undeniable. It seems likely that he will want a fresh start away from New York, and if he hits free agency, he will be near the top of many teams' wish lists. In fact, he might even be the best running back available, potentially even more appealing than Javonte. Hall has been held back by the supporting cast and the lack of a true run-first identity. In the Jets' offense, he is explosive, elusive, and capable of changing the entire complexion of a game when he is in the right system. For Dallas, that kind of player could be transformative, especially if they want to take pressure off the passing game and restore balance to the offense. If the Cowboys are looking for a more dependable option, Travis Etienne remains on the radar. He has not been as explosive or efficient as Javonte Williams when healthy, but he has multiple seasons of 1,000-yard rushing, and that consistency matters. He might not be the flashiest choice, but he fits the type of back the Cowboys need: someone who can handle a heavy workload, protect the football, and contribute as a receiver out of the backfield. If you want a runner who brings stability and reliability, Etienne is still a strong candidate, and he could fit nicely into the Cowboys' offensive scheme. Another name to consider is Kenneth Walker from Seattle. Walker had a solid season, surpassing 1,000 rushing yards, and he has shown he can be productive when healthy. The Seahawks have dealt with injuries and inconsistencies in their run game, but they have remained committed to running the football. Walker did not always get the goal line work he deserved, but he still proved he can be a tough, physical runner who can grind out yards and help control the clock. If the Cowboys are looking for a back who can help dominate time of possession and keep the defense off the field, Walker fits that role well. Then there is J.K. Dobbins, a player who has been discussed frequently over the last year. The biggest question with Dobbins is always whether he can stay healthy when he is on the field. He is a difference maker. He is explosive, powerful, and capable of breaking tackles in a way that few running backs can. But his injury history makes him a risky investment if Dallas is willing to take that gamble. Dobbins could represent a massive upgrade in the backfield. It is simply a matter of whether he can stay on the field long enough to justify a contract that likely comes with significant expectations. If the Cowboys lose Javonte and need a more budget-friendly option, Tyler Allgeier could be a dark horse candidate. He has done a lot of outside zone work in Atlanta, but he has shown he can be effective in other schemes as well. Interestingly, he tends to have an up and down pattern, playing well in certain seasons and then regressing in others. He is the type of player who could be acquired for a lower price if Dallas gets priced out of the top running back market. However, the priority for the Cowboys should still be re-signing Javonte Williams if they can. He fits the system, has proven what he can do when healthy, and he has shown the kind of upside that is worth investing in. Now let's move to offensive tackle, because if the Cowboys decide to move on from Terrence Steele, the options available in free agency are not exactly inspiring. This is one of those positions where you do not want to be desperate, because the best tackles rarely become available. But if Dallas does need to replace Steele, there are still a few names to consider. Braden Smith is one of them. His overall performance is similar to Steele's, perhaps a bit better in pass protection but not as strong in run blocking. The concern with Smith is his age, because offensive tackle is a position where durability and consistency matter greatly. He can be a solid veteran presence, especially in pass protection, but he may not be the long-term answer. Jonah Williams is another possibility, partly because of his past connection to Clayton Adams during their time in Arizona. That familiarity could be valuable, but the bigger issue is that Williams did not play well this past season. The Cardinals' offense was a mess, and the offensive line struggled significantly. Particularly without Adams, there is a chance Williams could rebound in a new environment. But there's also a real risk that his best years are behind him. Injury history is another red flag that makes him a questionable option. Cam Robinson is a name that has floated around the league for a while, and he could be a swing tackle option for Dallas. His recent performance has been inconsistent, and he has become somewhat of a journeyman. That kind of unpredictability is not ideal. But if the Cowboys are looking for depth and a lower-risk option, Robinson could be someone they consider. Trent Brown is another veteran tackle to watch. When healthy, he can be very effective. But the issue is that he has not played many snaps over the last few seasons. Injuries have been a major problem, and that makes him difficult to trust. If Dallas is willing to take a gamble on his medicals, he could be a significant upgrade. But it is a big risk. Kelvin Beachum is another name that could come up, but he is essentially a slightly worse version of Jonah Williams. The offensive tackle market is simply thin, and if the Cowboys cut Terrence Steele, they are likely looking at a group of players who are either past their prime or have significant injury concerns. That is why it is so important for Dallas to think long-term and not chase a quick fix in free agency. The real excitement, though, is on the defensive side of the ball. The edge rusher market is wide open, and the Cowboys need help in that area. One of the biggest names available is Trey Hendrickson, when healthy. He has been a dominant pass rusher, posting 17.5 sacks in back-to-back seasons. The problem is injuries and age, and he might be looking for a one-year deal to prove he still has it. That could be a risk worth taking, especially if paired with a star like Micah Parsons or another complementary piece. A strong edge addition could completely change the trajectory of this defense. Now, as we continue to dig into the Cowboys' free agency picture, the defense is where the real pressure starts to build. The edge rusher market is crowded with names, but the key question is who is actually worth the money and who is simply a gamble. Dallas cannot afford to get this wrong, because without a consistent pass rush, the defense will continue to struggle to generate the impact plays that win games. One of the biggest names that could be in play is Devin Lloyd from the Jaguars. He had a breakout season and has really boosted his stock. While his tackle numbers might not be the most eye-catching, the quality of those tackles is what sets him apart. He has shown excellent coverage ability and has developed into a more complete linebacker. The Jaguars made a mistake turning down his fifth-year option, and now they are paying the price. If he hits free agency, he is going to command a massive contract. We are talking about a deal in the range of $15 to $16 million per year, and that could even go higher, depending on how the market shakes out. Quincy Williams is another name that has been linked to the Cowboys for a while, and it honestly makes a lot of sense. The Jets linebacker has been productive in the past, and his brother already plays in Dallas. That connection alone is not enough. But when you combine it with the Cowboys' need at linebacker, it starts to feel like a match. Williams had a rough year in New York, and his time there did not end smoothly, but he has shown he can be a high-impact player. And if the money is right, he could be a smart addition. Dallas has a history of signing players who fit their physical, aggressive style, and Quincy Williams is the type of player who fits that mold. Key Walker is another former first-round pick who could be on the Cowboys' radar. He took a step back this past season, at least in terms of overall impact. The tackle numbers were there, but the Packers' linebacker corps as a whole seemed to decline. Walker is a great athlete and has shown he can be a playmaker, but he has also missed games. There is a question of consistency, and that matters when you are paying a premium. Still, he is the type of player who could thrive in a new system, especially if he is surrounded by the right supporting cast. The Cowboys will likely have interest, and so will many other teams. Alex Singleton is a name that might make more sense, depending on who the Cowboys' next defensive coordinator is. The Broncos linebacker had an outstanding season, racking up a massive number of tackles and staying healthy. He is the type of player who is a tackling machine, but his fit depends heavily on the defensive scheme. If Dallas goes with a coordinator who wants a more traditional, downhill linebacker, Singleton could be a perfect fit. He is not necessarily a flashy player, but he is consistent, tough, and reliable. That kind of player can be a real asset in a defense that needs stability and discipline. And Eric Wilson is another linebacker to watch. He has been a bit of a journeyman, but he has shown he can produce in the right system. He played well in the Brian Flores defense this past year, and his tackle for loss numbers were impressive. The problem is, he has not always been consistent over the long term. But if the Cowboys believe they can get the best out of him, he could be a solid addition. He is the type of player who can come in and contribute right away. And sometimes that is exactly what you need. Now let us move to the secondary, because this is where the Cowboys have a major need. The cornerback and safety markets are filled with names, but Dallas has to be smart. One of the most interesting players is Jamal Dean. The Cowboys are likely to let him hit free agency. Especially after investing in the quarterback room, Dean had a solid season, and his quarterback rating allow was impressively low. He did not get beat often, and he was a steady presence on the outside. He is older and has had some health concerns, but if Dallas wants a proven piece on the outside, he stands out. Another name to consider is Alontae Taylor. He had a strong season with the Saints, showing inside and outside versatility. His completion rate allowed was higher, but he made plays and had a good number of pass breakups. He also scored a few touchdowns, which shows he can be a playmaker. Taylor has been linked to several teams, and he could be a good fit for Dallas if they want a versatile corner who can play multiple roles. His value depends on what the Cowboys want to do schematically, but he is definitely a player worth monitoring. Eric Stokes is another interesting option. He had a bounce-back year. For a Raiders team that struggled in a lot of areas, Stokes is a former first-round pick out of Georgia, and he has shown he can be a high-level corner when healthy and in the right situation. He might just need more time to develop, and the Cowboys could be the type of team that gives him that opportunity if they believe they can get the best version of Stokes. He could be a valuable addition to the secondary. Rex Woolen is a player who the Cowboys have been linked to in the past, and he fits their profile in a lot of ways. He is long, athletic, and has the traits that the Cowboys love. The problem is he has been in and out of the Seahawks lineup, and his market is a bit unclear because of that. But if Dallas wants a young corner with upside, Woolen is the kind of player they might target. He has the physical tools, and sometimes that is enough for the Cowboys to take a chance. Greg Newsome is another former early round pick who could be on the radar. He struggled in Jacksonville early in his time there, but he improved as the season went on. His numbers were not great, but there are signs that he can still be a solid player in the right system. The Cowboys love former first-round picks who have upside, and Newsome fits that mold if he hits free agency. He is a name that could be worth monitoring. Now let us move to safety, because this is another area where the Cowboys have to get creative. One name that stands out is Kem Curl from the Rams. The Rams re-signed Quinton Lake, and they might not want to invest heavily in Curl. He is a player who can play around the box and make plays in run support. He has a high tackle number for a safety, and in his case, that is a good thing. He is the kind of player who can help in the run game and be physical in the secondary. If Dallas wants a safety who can be a force near the line of scrimmage, Curl is worth considering. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. The NFL rumor mill caught fire after whispers of a potential player exchange between the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots began circulating through league circles, while neither front office has laid every card on the table. The mere suggestion of movement between two of the league's most recognizable franchises was enough to send fans into a frenzy and set talk radio ablaze. Sources close to the situation suggest that discussions have been ongoing behind closed doors, fueled by mutual needs on both rosters. Dallas, always under pressure to maximize its championship window, is believed to be exploring ways to add versatility and experience without disrupting its core identity. New England, meanwhile, is rumored to be open to reshaping parts of its lineup, prioritizing long-term flexibility while remaining competitive. What makes this speculation particularly electric is the contrast in philosophies historically associated with the two organizations. The Cowboys thrive under constant spotlight, while the Patriots are known for quiet efficiency and surprise moves. A trade between them feels almost cinematic, blending star power with calculated strategy. Fans have already begun imagining how a new arrival could change locker room dynamics, elevate certain units, and redefine expectations heading into the next stretch of the season. Social media reaction has been immediate and emotional. Cowboys supporters see the rumored deal as a sign of ambition, proof that the front office is willing to act boldly rather than settle. Patriots fans, on the other hand, are divided between trust in the system and curiosity about what a fresh face could bring. Analysts caution that, as with all rumors, the final shape of any agreement could look very different from early chatter. Until official confirmation arrives, speculation will continue to dominate headlines. One thing is clear. Even the hint of a Cowboys-Patriots trade is powerful enough to shake the league's narrative, reminding everyone that in the NFL, momentum can shift long before anything becomes official. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.